You had this photo of Donald Trump purportedly in the Beast. But if you go back August 23rd,
I gotta see what else we're doing. That sounds great. Okay.
I can assure you the president acts with only the interests of the American public in mind, putting our country first and doing what's best for our country.
So here's the question everyone's asking. Where is Donald Trump?
We can't sell beef. It's peanuts. And by the way, unbelievable people are coming. A lot of people that are illegal are great people. Just let's get it straight. They don't want to give it straight.
Because in recent days, what was supposed to be a triumphant show of strength has turned into something far stranger and far more embarrassing. His team promised clarity, energy, and undeniable proof that Trump was still in control.
Memphis is swoop. Sorry about that. This is it. We have a thing called the telephone, so. Well, I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host. Do you have questions for anybody else?
Instead, what the public saw was confusion, missteps, and a series of awkward appearances that raised more questions than answers.
It just gets worse, and it's going to get worse, because you can see him declining faster and faster. I predict Trump is going to have some type of collapse within the next 12 months at the current trajectory. I'm not saying he's going to collapse.
And while his supporters may spin it as fake news or media bias, the truth is simple. Trump failed miserably to deliver proof of life for his political future. And as a result, the momentum of his term has crashed harder than anyone expected.
In 1914, years of escalating competition between European alliances culminate in the outbreak of the First World War.
Think about it. For weeks, whispers had been growing louder. Rumors about Trump's health, his stamina, and even his ability to keep up the fight.
There are a lot of aspects of Donald Trump's personal life that have made headlines during the course of his administration, but his ways of displaying affinity for eldest daughter Ivanka Trump may be the most unusual. Unlike his other children, Donald Trump has given Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner,
his advisors knew they had to put on a show, a big one to quiet the speculation and restore confidence. But when the cameras rolled, it was the opposite of reassuring.
Donald Trump's political ambitions truly came to a head. He and Ivanka appeared on the Wendy Williams show in 2013. One otherwise innocuous question became an excruciating.
Trump appeared unfocused, repeating lines, fumbling through talking points, and looking nothing like the powerhouse his base insists he still is. What was meant to silence the critics only fueled them further. Instead of proof of life, it looked like proof of decline.
I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns quickly.
The nuclear is the biggest single problem the world has, not global warming with a...
Obviously, people saw that debate. He kind of seemed to freeze up at times, had a hard time speaking. But that doesn't mean that there aren't issues also with former President Trump, who's 78 and will be 82 at the end of his second term. Now, he doesn't present the same way, obviously, as President Biden. He does seem to have more energy. He does seem to speak more loudly and bombastically.
It began with the much-hyped big speech. This was supposed to be Trump's moment, the unveiling of his vision, his strategy, his next bold step. But when the lights came up and the words rolled out, what the audience heard was something very different.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he stumbled through his points, drifted off topic, and then came the moment everyone noticed. Trump forgot President Stubbs' name. He paused, hesitated, and fumbled before awkwardly moving on. A slip that instantly went viral, and Trump appeared smaller than ever. The energy, the dominance, that larger-than-life aura, gone.
Well, I've known Trump for a long time.
Right.
And I think people can make up their own minds about whether he's diagnosable or not. But I would say we can probably all agree that he lacks diplomacy.
Has he offered you a position?
Critics pounced immediately, framing the moment not as a show of strength but as a cry for help. Proof of life? Hardly. What they saw was confirmation that his political freefall is already underway.
And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama,
forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City.
Then came the Oval Office appearance meant to showcase power and control. Instead, it turned into an awkward spectacle. Trump announced the relocation of U.S. Space Command to Huntsville, Alabama, calling it a major win.
In Huntsville, Space Com will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before.
But when the topic shifted to Chicago, his answer didn't project authority. It exposed just how out of touch he's become. Instead of sounding like a decisive leader, Trump came off as reactive, clinging to old threats that no longer carry the same weight.
And Donald Trump is the Wizard of Oz. He is the guy. It's a man, he plays Monopoly with real fucking buildings. This is a scary man. And he owns all these beauty pageants, Miss America, Miss Universe. Isn't that a bit like Michael Vick owning a series of pet stores?
What was meant to show relevance instead exposed Trump's slipping grip. Surrounded by gaudy gold, the spectacle felt like hollow theater. Loud, but empty. Far from proof of life, it became a glaring signal that his term is collapsing under its own weight, flashing weakness, not strength.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
And here's where it got even worse. While Trump struggled to project life and energy, the very narrative his allies had been building, the big comeback started to unravel.
We are also praying for the people of Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Ed Markey appearing in a TikTok calling out the president for violating the Constitution, some calling the post cringe. The White House owning its strategy, posting nowhere in the Constitution does it say we can't post banger memes.
Poll numbers dipped, donors grew uneasy, even longtime loyalists whispered doubts.
And I think that they would be horrified, not just about President Trump's conduct, but about the abdication of responsibility from the first branch of government, of Congress, in allowing those egregious violations of the Constitution.
In politics, perception is everything. And in this moment, the perception wasn't of revival, it was of weakness.
If my colleagues are truly interested in issues of presidential succession and disability under the 25th Amendment, I would suggest they embark on this constitutional journey with a proposed amendment, not today's political adventure. I yield.
Remember, Trump's entire career has been built on image. The billionaire, the deal maker, the fighter, the man who never backs down. He's always known that showing strength, even if it's exaggerated, is key to survival.
Physical decline is clearly getting worse.
Happening right now, President Donald Trump hosting leaders of several African nations there at the White House.
During that meeting, Trump's memory repeatedly failed him.
But this time, the mask slipped. The Proof of Life event proved the opposite, that Trump, far from invincible, looked fragile. And fragility is the one thing his brand can't survive. Trump wanted to prove he was still alive politically. Instead, he gave proof that his grip on power is slipping. His proof of life became proof of decline. And as his term narrative crashes, the question becomes, can he recover, or are we witnessing the slow fade of a once dominant force? What do you think? Was this just a bad week for Trump, or is it the final unraveling? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our world right now. Because this one is far from over.